What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 Easter eggs in Fallout 4. It has been an amazing ride just going through these Easter eggs with you guys. The entire top 50 Easter eggs series was a huge success, and that was all down to you guys, so thank you so much for the support. Even if you just dropped a like or commented or even just watched the video, thank you so much, guys. You're all amazing. And as promised, we're going to be looking back at the top 10 Easter eggs across the entire series, which have been voted into this episode by you guys. If you follow me on Twitter, you would understand I was doing a small vote, and we've finally composed a list of the best and most popular Easter eggs and the most favorite Easter eggs in the game. So I hope you do enjoy, guys, and let's get into this. So if you guys have seen the movie Good Will Hunting, then you will definitely understand this Easter egg. You will find a dead janitor next to a chalkboard with some drawings on the chalkboard. Now, in the movie Good Will Hunting, you will see the exact same drawings being done by a janitor. Now, Good Will Hunting is one amazing movie. It always ends up on the movie list of movies to watch by pretty much everyone I've asked, so I'm sure you guys will watch this at some point in your lifetime. It's definitely a good movie to watch. So let's take a walk to Diamond City for number 9, and what I recommend having is a sniper rifle or some form of ability to zoom, because this is pretty much the closest you can get to this Easter egg, and it's actually the famous lone red seat at Fenway. Now, if you guys know how this Easter egg originated, then if you go over to Fenway, you will actually see one red seat amongst a whole bunch of other seats, which are all green. Now, this red seat is specifically important and significant because it does resemble the furthest home run ever done at Fenway, hence why we have a red seat. Now, I'm going to show some images of the red seat at Fenway. As you can see, it's pretty similar, and I absolutely love these type of Easter eggs in the game just because it shows the type of detail Bethesda are going into in order to actually get these Easter eggs up and running. So go and check out the red seat, guys, and also tell your friends about it and tell them how it got there. It's pretty interesting, and I hope you liked it. So this next Easter egg is actually a small compilation of a few Easter eggs, because as you make your way around the wasteland, you will see various references to Fallout 3, Skyrim, and many other games in the Bethesda franchise. So all you're going to want to do is make your way into this kind of container-like back of a truck, and you will see blocks saying Gary. Now, this isn't the only location you can find the Gary blocks. You can find them in various other locations dotted around the wasteland. You will also find a teddy bear, a wooden spoon, and what looks like a cotton reel. Now, this is a really interesting Easter egg because if you take a look back in Fallout 3 at Vault 108, you will notice there's a whole bunch of clones known as Gary. Now, whether one of these clones has escaped and is now making its way around the wasteland in Fallout 4 is still a mystery, but it could be the clone, or it could be someone hunting down for the clones. Either way, it's a pretty interesting Easter egg, and it shows someone has interest in Gary, someone knows who Gary is, so whether it's actually the clone, or whether it's someone hunting for him will remain a mystery. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments. As well as this, if you make your way to the Prydwen and make your way inside the ship, you will come across a plant known as Nirnroot. Now, this plant was taken straight out of Skyrim, and for some reason, we have this in Fallout 4 inside the Prydwen. So make sure you are aware of that. As well as this, if you know who the Lone Wanderer is, you can actually see his signature on this motorbike. Now, this is the Lone Wanderer from Fallout 3. Once again, another protagonist from Fallout 3, someone who I think most of you guys will know. Here's a small biography of the Lone Wanderer if you guys don't know him. You will find various other references to do with him in Fallout 4, but it's still pretty interesting to find his bike, his engravings, and many other awesome references to the Lone Wanderer. But it doesn't end there. If you make your way over to this location, Reeves Marina, you will come across a Happy Birthday Sweet Roll. Now, I'm sure the majority of you guys will also know this reference. It is from Fallout 3. And next up, you'll also find the Skyrim mask. And as well as the Skyrim mask, you will find a hollowed out rock. Now, I did a small video about the hollowed out rock, and it's actually pretty interesting. If you make your way over to this location and come up to this rock, you will find loads of loot inside it. And this is a reference, once again, to Fallout 3. This is because in Fallout 3, there's a location called Megaton. And if you go over to Megaton, you will also find a hollowed out rock, which is carrying a lot of loot. However, if you continue to dig into the rock and take a look at some of the items, make your way into the miscellaneous category and you will come across a note. If you give the note a read, you'll notice that it will contain a whole bunch of awesome Easter eggs. Been too long. Sorry I missed you at Megaton. Looks like history repeats itself, but as promised, here's the gear I managed to scrounge up. All the best and stay safe. The Commonwealth is its own kind of hell. E. Now, this is a really interesting Easter egg, and I'm sure some of you Fallout 4 fans will understand who sent it, who received it, etc, etc, and it's just a really interesting Easter egg, so I love it, and I think you guys will as well. I think the secretive factor is also taken into consideration because it is so damn secret. And last but not least, something else which I thought I may as well mention, which you can find also in Fallout 3, is the GOAT test. Now this was found pretty early on in the game. If you talk to Swanson at Covenant, he will give you what looks like the GOAT test, but is actually known as the safe test. Both are pretty much exactly the same, and it's a lot of fun to give it a try, so make sure you do go and give the safe test a try, and while you're doing it, you will now know this is a reference to Fallout 3.
So let's begin. There ain't no wrong answers. You are approached by a frenzied scientist who yells, "I'm going to put my quantum harmonizer in your photonic resonation chamber." What's your response?
I wouldn't worry. If he did that, it'd cause parabolic destabilization of the fission singularity.
Yeah. Next question. While working as an intern in the clinic, a patient with a strange infection on his foot stumbles through the door. The infection is spreading at an alarming rate. The doctor has stepped out for a while. What do?
Amputate the foot before the infection spreads?
Amputation. Next question.
So next up, we're going to take a look at probably the most funniest and amusing Easter egg of all of them. If you go into the inn at Diamond City and come into room number 1, you will notice what looks like Todd Howard on Napoleon. And guess what, guys? It is. If you take a look at this painting, you will see Napoleon riding a horse. But wait, let's zoom in just a little bit more. Now we're zoomed in, I think you guys can see the Photoshopness on this image, and it's actually Todd Howard's face on Napoleon, and it's really, really amusing. So if you guys don't know who Todd Howard is, he is one of the bosses up at Bethesda Studios who worked very high up on Fallout 4. He was pretty much the manager of that game, and he pretty much created it and led the team. And what the team did as a joke is add his face on Napoleon. Whether Todd was told about this Easter egg or whether they just left him to discover it for himself when the game was released is a mystery, but nonetheless, it's some great banter. So at number 6, if you make your way over to Red Rocket, you will come across this dog named Dogmeat. Now I'm sure the majority, or at least all of you guys, have encountered Dogmeat, but this is actually a reference to the South Park episode called Red Rocket, in which they take the mick out of Dogmeat, quite literally. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the entire Easter egg. I'm sure you guys can put 2 and 2 together, and of course, you're free to comment in the comments. But this Easter egg is a huge reference to the South Park episode in which they take the mick out of Dogmeat at Red Rocket. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get into number 5. So this next Easter egg is about the Cask of Amontillado. So if you guys follow the short story horrific novel, then you may understand what this means. However, if you come underneath the castle, you will come across a dungeon which you have to unlock by doing a quest. Once you're inside the dungeon, you will come across some very horrific things, including a skeleton dangling down from a wall. Now this is actually one of the references from the Cask of Amontillado, a short story by Edgar Allan Poe. And one of the references involves loads of skeletons and corpses and human bodies lining its way around the wall. If you dig a little bit further into the dungeon, you'll find exactly why this is the Cask of Amontillado. This is because if you take a look just next to the skeleton, you will find a literal cask of Amontillado. Now the Amontillado bottles are alcoholic bottles and drinks, and of course you will find a whole cask of them next to another dead body who looks like someone who is meant to be guarding the dungeon. Maybe he's hiding a secret under there or something, but nonetheless it's a really good Easter egg referencing the Cask of Amontillado short story horror, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and it's definitely a good read. So if you are looking to read anything, then definitely go and check out that book and give it a read. It's really, really interesting to read, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyway, let's get into the next Easter egg. So coming in at number 4, what you're going to want to do is make your way over to my location, and I think you guys have guessed this already. It is the Prost Bar. Now the Prost Bar is actually German for the Cheers Bar, and if you guys do follow the TV show, or the big hit TV show back in the days known as Cheers, you would understand this is the exact same bar from this TV show. Now, not only is the bar named after the bar in the TV show, as well as the show itself, you will also find characters dotted around the bar. You can find Norm, you can find Cliff, you can find them all in their exact locations where they're meant to be, where they're meant to be sitting. And for example, if you go over to Norm and Cliff, who are the two characters just sitting next to each other at one side of the bar, you will find one of them has its own postman hat, which is a reference to one of them being a postman in the actual TV show. By the looks of things, Bethesda have googled up Cheers and also found some of the most popular images of this TV show and put the characters exactly where they are in these images. Here are North and Cliff just enjoying their drinks. One of them has its own postman hat, which you can find, of course, here in this photo, and it's just a really good reference overall. So if you do come across a bit of spare time, I do recommend you check out this Easter egg, as it's something you guys don't want to miss out on, and it's definitely a must-see in the Wasteland. So now we're finally in the top 3 Easter eggs out of the top 10, and we're going to take a look at the Doomsday Pyramid. So if you guys are familiar with conspiracies or just anything which the US build in top secret confidential attitudes, then you may know what the Doomsday Pyramid is. So what happened was, a few years ago, the United States actually built a pyramid which was to predict a nuclear war and essentially Doomsday. It was meant to predict the day and protect anyone who needs protecting inside the pyramid if that Doomsday Day did ever come. Now you can find this pyramid in the radioactive wasteland just outside the map, and this pyramid looks exactly like the one which was built for the exact same reasons as this pyramid. So if you go inside, you will find that it also has nuclear material. It's also got loads of labs and scientists and many other things. So here's an image of the actual Doomsday Pyramid. It's still there today, so you can still go and check it out if you want to, if you're allowed to. And here is a small article about the US pyramid. Now, like I said, it was built by the Library of Congress, who released a dramatic, haunting set of pictures of the giant pyramid, and it was built to track the end of the world and protect anyone inside who needs protecting. Now, this pyramid is pretty big. If you go inside, you will find various levels and floors and tunnels, loads of things, a huge complex for you to hide in, and it's definitely a great place to go and check out. So this is an awesome Easter egg, and I'm so happy they have mimicked the entire thing in the Wasteland. And at runners-up, we're going to take a look at the Vault-Tec dial-up number. Now, if you make your way to any calendar with Vault-Tec on it, or a Vault-Tec lunchbox or anything, all you're going to want to do is phone up the number on the product, and you will get this answering machine.
Thank you for calling Vault-Tec, your first choice in post-nuclear survival. We're sorry, but due to unexpectedly high call volume, all representatives are currently busy. Please stay on the line, and someone will be with you as soon as possible. There are
101 million
callers in front of you. Estimated wait time
78,643 hours.
Thank you for calling Vault-Tec. Have a wonderful day.
Anyway, let's get into number 1. The best Easter egg out of the entire series has to be this flux sensor. Now, this is the most popular one in the entire series. So many of you guys have commented about it, so many of you guys have liked it, and this had to make it as number 1 in the series, only just beating the Vault-Tec dial-up number. But if you find yourself a flux sensor or anything with a number or a barcode on it, give it a Google search, because on this flux sensor you will find CM888-180-924-609. Now, this is written and sketched onto the back of the flux sensor, and this is the exact code you will find on this computer in the famous movie known as Alien. Hey, the more you know. So this is a really cool Easter egg, and it's so damn complicated and difficult to find, but I'm glad we found it, and it is definitely something worth checking out. And it makes you more aware of anything you pick up in the game, because there's so many things, so many little details which actually mean a lot, especially if you're an Easter egg hunter. So guys, I hope you did enjoy this video, and if you did, then please don't leave without clicking that like button, and if you are new here, I do recommend you click that subscribe button as well. By subscribing, you'll be updated with Fallout 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 content on a daily basis, so I do recommend you do so. And did you agree with my list? If not, let me know down in the comments how you would have done my list differently, and any other Easter eggs you would like to have in this top 10 list. It was really difficult composing this list myself, so guys, I hope you did enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.